Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family. And today, rather than doing the third question and answer, I will be talking about Harry's court case, and I'll do the third Q&A in a day or two. Something I said years ago, and that was that Meghan would stop being physically all over Harry. She would stop being tactile. She would pull away. She would set him up to basically fail in everything. She would drop hints about his mental state, and she might even be seen with bruises. Think of Amber Heard. And encourage him to dig himself a big hole to fall into. All in preparation for a divorce. She hasn't stopped him from making a fool of himself in court because it's all part of the plan to finish the job of making him look like an absolute clown. One thing which really stands out is the fact that he is again wired up, or it looks as if he is again wired up to record himself in court or to receive information via an earpiece in the court proceedings, maybe for the Netflix movie. Maybe if it's a recording, then maybe it's for the Netflix movie, which is totally not allowed in court. Someone said that he's been fed instructions, whether it's Meghan or speaking to him, telling him what to say, and all he's doing is sounding as if he's expecting everyone around him to give the answers. And the contradicting of himself is quite unreal, contradicting himself regarding his book and showing very obviously that he still pines after his former girlfriend, Chelsea Davy. The photos of Harry with a wire coming out of his ear and also under the collar of his shirt shows that he very possibly is wired up, which would be contempt of court. If he was being fed information, then it was information to make him look even more dumb than he actually is. The first day he didn't show up, but the first time that he actually stood in the court, it was noticed that he was restless, fidgeting, seemed quite nervous, and licking his lips. However, on the second day, he apparently looked quite medicated. Whether he was wired for a Netflix video or being fed information on what to say, he did not do himself any favours whatsoever. I have heard of cases that had more evidence than this that have been chucked out through lack of evidence. And think about Meghan's case, where the judge was saying there was lack of evidence. This is 10 times worse, where Harry seems to think that everything is done for him and that all he has to do is just be there and say the mantra that he was hacked by the press, and the other mantra of, I don't know, you'll have to ask them, referring either to his lawyers or to the press. It has even been suggested that Meghan was pitching his answers, but that was a bit too risky even for her. But the thing is, are they looking into it? If they're not, why not? Harry also admitted that he was very busy with other litigation cases, as if that's his only job. Quite bizarre. It's also bizarre how his court case is actually going ahead without sufficient evidence. It just seems to be about Harry's mission to destroy the monarchy, the press, and the country. In fact, he wants to destroy everything around him, it seems. And it's actually showing the monarchy to be powerless, weak, and dysfunctional, and the legal system in the country to be similar. It does show without a doubt what I've been saying for the past 4 years, but Harry is still in love with Chelsea Davy, and I think she would do well to get an injunction out as soon as possible to stop Harry speaking any more about her. She has moved on, which was a good thing for her. Regarding being hacked, I totally believe that Harry was being hacked and still is, irreparably. And when I say hacked, I mean he was actually hacked by Meghan. His mind was hacked by his wife. Meghan wants his downfall. Why else would she encourage him to work with the very person she decided not to work with, David Sherborne? Harry is losing everything, but most importantly, I think he's been losing his mind ever since the time he met Meghan. I've also been saying for years now that they needed to separate Harry from Meghan to get the help that he needed. And there was actually a time when I was told by someone in the know that it was being set up by friends of William and Harry's, mutual friends, and one of them whose father owned a plane, or who was a pilot, and Prince Charles were arranging a flight, but Harry refused in the end. This was when he was in Canada. Harry wasn't prepared to leave at that time, but his friends were there for him and ready to go out and actually physically get him at the drop of a hat. I think also that Prince Charles had a military flight ready to go and collect Harry again at the drop of a hat, but that didn't happen. Smoking cannabis from a young age, from teenage years, stunts the emotional growth, and as the brain of a teenager finishes developing at the age of 25, Harry seems to be trapped at a much younger age. He's trapped probably at the age that he lost his mother due to the trauma. The whole thing is very much a circus, and the fact that he has already confessed his abuse of illegal drugs, why hasn't anyone stepped in to offer help? Why hasn't the judge ordered help for him? Because this is something they do if they can see that it's a mental thing. I still think it's part of something that has to play out, and we don't see the actual bigger picture at the moment. Harry's not stupid. Some of his behaviour is. And he's not as thick as people say. He would not be able to speak in the way that he used to, in a knowledgeable and articulate way, when he has done reasonable speeches in the past, before he knew Meghan. He would not be able to have done that if he was that thick. I think his brain has been frazzled by drugs, but most importantly by Meghan. I also think he might have been suffering from ADHD or similar, but would not have been diagnosed because of the family that he was born into. He would not have got the help if he was suffering from any mental health related condition. If he was ADHD, then he would suffer that without any help, because the Queen's first cousin, was put into a mental home because of her mental illness and totally ignored by everyone. And we were not aware that she even had a cousin. And I think also the Queen never went to visit her. The family never went to visit her. So they're sort of pushed out of the way and forgotten about, because it's shameful for the royal family to have anything but perfection in their family. Ridiculous, actually. So I think that's another reason why they wouldn't have wanted to label Harry anything like ADHD. One thing I do know is that he does not look the same. He does not look remotely like the Harry of 5 years ago. And if this is being played out as part of a bigger picture, then I hope it comes to the conclusion pretty soon. If it's not, then the person in court making themselves look a mockery needs serious help. So let me have your thoughts on this, and I would love to read your comments and questions. Any questions that you ask, I'll try and get through as many as I can and answer them in the next video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Much love. Bye.